Hi everybody, my name is Kim, and I read through several different stories of Paul before trying to decide which was my favorite one, or which one I wanted to talk about for class this week. I was leaning towards the conversion of Saul to Paul on the road to Damascus because that's just an incredible story, and I don't know how you couldn't be moved by that. But what I ended up actually going with was when Paul was in Athens, and so we're looking at Acts chapter 17, and it starts in verse 16, that Paul was waiting for his companions in Athens, and he was greatly distressed to see that the city was full of idols. So he reasoned in the synagogue with both Jews and God-fearing Greeks, as well as in the marketplace day by day with those who happened to be there. A group of Epicurean and Stoic philosophers began to debate with him. Some of them asked, "What is this babbler trying to say?" Others remarked, "He seems to be advocating foreign gods." They said this because Paul was preaching the good news about Jesus and the resurrection. Then they took him and brought him into a meeting in the Areopagus, I may have mispronounced that, where they said to him, "May we know what this new teaching that you are presenting is? You are bringing some strange ideas to our ears, and we would like to know what they mean." All the Athenians and the foreigners who lived there during that time, they spent their time doing nothing but talking and listening to people about their latest ideas. Paul stood up in the meeting and said, "People of Athens, I see that in every way you are religious. For as I walked around and carefully looked at your objects of worship, I even found an altar with the inscription, 'To an unknown God.' So you are ignorant in the very thing you worship, and this is why I am going to proclaim to you. The God who made the world and everything in it is the Lord of heaven and earth, and does not live in the temples built by human hands, and he is not served by human hands as if he needed anything. Rather, he himself gives everyone life and breath and everything else in it." Paul continues to go on from there and really kind of explain the gospel to people and try to proclaim that there is only one God, and that them having an altar to an unknown God, the God that they know needs to be there is God, that God is the one who fills in the hole that's missing in their life. And they rejected him. They heard about this, in verse 32, when they heard about this, the resurrection of the dead, some of them sneered, but others said, "We want to hear you again on this subject." At that, Paul left the council. Some of the people became followers of Paul and believed. Among them was Dionysius, a member of the Areopagus, also a woman named Damaris, and a number of others. So why I chose that for my story that I enjoyed the most was because Paul preached the gospel wherever he went and found a way to do it. And I don't know that we really do that today. I don't know that that's something that we do a very good job of. And I think that we miss out sometimes. And what Paul did was find a way to tell them about Jesus no matter where he was. He found a statue that said, "To the unknown God," and I don't know that that's something that I would have necessarily thought of or something that would have caught my attention and that I would have done. But everywhere he went, it didn't matter if there was a riot going on, it didn't matter if people opposed him, it didn't matter how mad people were going to be. He still chose to teach the gospel, and he did it in a loving way, and he found a way to teach it to everybody, which is what I think is really cool. He didn't teach in the exact same way and say, well, if you don't follow this formula, then you're not going to get it. He preached in a way to the Athenians that they would understand. He used their current system and told them that it was wrong, gently corrected them about it, tried to love them and tell them the truth, but he did it in a way that they would really get and that they would really understand. To the Jews, he did the same, where he explained that Jesus was the Messiah. So I think that is what's really important to know about him, is that he cared enough about people and he cared enough about the world that he had the Spirit of God inside of him that was just burning to tell the truth in whatever fashion, in whatever way. So it didn't matter that people didn't want to hear it. It didn't matter that he might get arrested or that they may riot or that they would just make fun of him. And how many of us really don't tell the truth or don't share the gospel because we're afraid of offending somebody, or because we're afraid that, that they're not going to like it or that they'll be mad at us. And Paul just didn't have that, or if he had that fear, he didn't show it. And I think that he was just such a brilliant warrior for God in all of the ways that he let nothing stop him from spreading the word, and that he was so creative in what he used to spread the word that everything he saw, he turned into a preaching moment or a way to share the gospel. And I think that's really cool.